Okay, we're just getting breaking news right now, and this is reportable, right? Lyle Menendez has been denied parole, just like his brother, last evening. We're going to bring in Conan and Royal Oaks on this. Royal, got to ask you, any surprise on this?
Not a shock at all. I think the district attorney kind of summarized probably what the commissioners are saying. You just walk through it in a pretty simple timeline way. This is the older brother who came up with the plan of killing the parents and influenced the younger brother to do it. This is the older brother who literally on the night of the murder said to Erik, look, you're going to have to shoot first because otherwise you might chicken out. And then they blamed it on the mafia. Then when the psychologist blew the whistle on him, they said, okay, we did it because of abuse. And then they try to obtain perjury from two different girlfriends. And then they violate the rules in prison. And a psychologist for the board says these guys are at risk of violent behavior. So I would say it is really not a shock that he has been denied parole.
Yeah, you know, I'm sorry, Conan.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you imagine Lyle being let out and Erik not? No, I mean, that based on what you just said and what we all know about this case, that would be unheard of, frankly. So it would be interesting to see the deliberations here, we will hear later on. But I can't imagine, you know, once we saw what happened yesterday, it was a foregone conclusion that this was going to happen today.
Yeah, of course, word just coming out that Lyle Menendez has been denied parole. Let's get back to NBC4's Robert Kowalski. He's live down in San Diego County, there in front of the correctional facility. Robert, late word just coming in.
Hi, guys. I'm doing exactly what we did yesterday. I am sending you the parole report so you guys can all go forward together. What is interesting here is that, according to the parole commissioner, unlike what we heard with Erik, and I'm quoting here, she says this to Lyle, we find your remorse is genuine. In many ways, you look like you've been a model inmate. You have been a model inmate in many ways who has demonstrated the potential for change. But despite all these outward positives, we see you still struggle with antisocial personality traits like deception, minimization, and rule breaking that lie beneath that positive surface. Just to flag my producers in NBC yesterday so I can explain to you what happened. We now have a photo of Lyle Menendez that we're going to share to you. The photo of Erik was taken first thing in the morning as the parole hearing started yesterday. That photo was leaked. Apparently, the California prison system was very upset and said, we're not going to release the photo of Lyle, which we're going to get for you on our screen in just a second, until this parole hearing is over. Colleen and Michael, I'm going to have you, as I talk to our viewers for a second, go through what I just sent you so you can pull these highlights. But I want to talk to you all about what we heard from Lyle today. And give me a second. I'm going to pull these up on my computer. And these are, you know, Lyle, just so you understand, there's some things that we can't tell you right away because we are sort of put under very strict rules and regulations. So if we can, back in Universal City, let's put this up. This is Lyle Menendez. He's crying here. His face is reddened and his voice is strained as he's saying the following. It is the anniversary of a crushing day for so many in my family. I think about all the phone calls on that day with the shattering news and the loss and the grief. He went on to say again, red-faced, crying, voice strained, despite all of this, they are still here, showing up for me, disrupting their lives, dealing with public scrutiny, and I will never deserve it. Now, when it came to the closing remarks from the deputy district attorney, he gives no weight here to the idea that Lyle Menendez and Erik Menendez acted in fear of their lives, and acted in self-defense, acted because of the sexual abuse, and acted in any legitimate way because they believed their parents were going to kill them first. And this quote from Ethan Milius from the LA County District Attorney's Office. When you look at him, Lyle has a long documented history of lies made to avoid the consequences of his own actions. Today, Lyle continues to lie about the central issue in his parents' murders. This is Heidi Rummel. She has been the one player who has taken part in both Erik's hearing and Lyle's parole hearing. Defense attorney Heidi Rummel, Lyle's parole attorney, says, and I'm quoting, let's put this up, Lyle Menendez spent the first 21 years of the life in prison of his home and the rest of his life in prison. The board is going to say you're dangerous because you use cell phones, but there is zero evidence that he used it for criminality, that he used it for violence. He didn't even lie about it. She went on to say that she hopes that we are in a place today that we have a deeper understanding of childhood sexual abuse. But as we go to the remarks, and this has just been released to us from the Poole report, and Michael and Colleen, you all have a chance to take a look at this, and we'll bring you in here. But again, they sort of acknowledge the fact that unlike his brother, there aren't a lot of violations to talk about, that he seems to be a model prisoner. However, they bring up those personality traits. Again, Lyle Menendez denied parole this time out, but like his brother, will be given a shot 3 years later. And as Conan said, it really was hard for a lot of us to believe that one brother could get out and the other could stay in. I just want to bring up that 2017 interview. He was housed at that point in Northern California. He was really adamant when producer Mary Harris and I spoke with him extensively that he be transferred down here from Mule State to Donovan, where his brother was in San Diego, because he said at that point he was worried that Erik was suicidal and that Erik was depressed. He was transferred in 2018. The brothers have been here since, and we now know the brothers will continue to be incarcerated here at least for the next 3 years.